Yo, what is up, guys? So, I want to give you a quick update with what's going on with the crypto market, my thoughts on and my idea for the end of the year in Q4. So, I'm gonna start off with Zcash, and the reason why is because if you guys have been following me in the private group and paying attention to everything I send, I talked about taking this trade, okay, and holding this for long term. So I'm currently in this trade. I left this open and I actually forgot about this trade. Okay, so from where we entered when I called this out was at this level. Okay, so $43, right? And then this went all the way up to about 150, 156, right? So almost a seven return. We're seeing a pullback right now, giving her about five and a half return, right? So I'm thinking about actually closing this. Yeah, I'm gonna close this after this video because I think we can get a pullback here somewhere and then go higher. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna take this profits and probably rotate it into another coin. But the reason why Zcash, like something like this, is important is because I want to show you guys that the crypto market is still alive. When you see movement like this, especially in things like Zcash, we're gonna start seeing movements in ADA, Algo, um, even Doge, uh, Link, Chainlink, right? We're gonna start seeing these things move aggressively just like this, okay? So, um, as far as an investment standpoint, you guys know like we've been pretty much dollar cost averaging for over a year. So most of these coins, um, were either like neutral or maybe a little bit red for most of them, because of aggressive, the deeper pullbacks, and maybe for one or two positions like on Algo we bought we're probably green on, and then File, um, still kind of neutral on in the long run. But for the most part, we're doing good, right? When a lot of these things start running, we're gonna start pulling out, taking profits, maybe doing some rotations and some other things. But this part is just to show you guys that the crypto market's still up and running. Okay, so when we look at something like Algo, for example, let me clean this up. So Algo has much higher to go, and I really think if we run this tool lows to the bottom, I really think by the end of Q4 we could easily get to maybe 1.8. Okay, so that's really what I'm looking at, right? And then from where we are now, right, that's 700%, right? Now I think it's very possible, I look at something like this with Algo, I think it's very possible that we come down a little bit more, really down into this area. Okay, I think we're gonna come down into this. Now, I would love if we can come down to here, and that's very possible. If Bitcoin does what I think it's going to do, I think we will come and sweep these lows and come down in here. But I think just from a short term, we are gonna come here. And if it comes down here, even buying from here, I think is, I mean, like you'll see the difference, right? Let me show you guys the difference in returns and why these entries matter, right? Coming in from around this area. One second, guys. Right, has almost an extra 200% here, right? So you're looking at almost 10x from here, right? And then if we're lucky enough to be blessed for price to go this low, right, you're looking at almost 12x, right? So these entries do matter, okay? Entries do matter. We're gonna make a lot of money off of these things, but again, patience is required. Okay, so algo, still waiting. Cardano, it's leaving this open down here, so I do think we come down there, and we also have these relative equal lows. So I really think at some point we might come down and sweep these. It's very hard for me to think they're gonna just leave these here, these equal lows here. I mean, you can see there's always like a big deviation right before a big move. Deviation higher, right? Deviation higher, right? So to not have any type of deviation before a big leg up, I doubt it, right? And again, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen in the markets, and that's my mindset always, right? And that's why we do dollar cost average in certain areas, right? Like you could be dollar cost averaging here and then saving your bigger entries for lower, right? But again, that's why these strategies I'm giving you is very, very important. I hope all that makes sense. Let's look at XRP. So XRP, I really think we're coming down here. I don't see us not coming down here before another leg up. And the bigger issue to me, to also be honest, is I'll be surprised that we don't even come back and retrace at least 50% of this move from down here, right? So really what this is looking like to me from a bigger perspective, and this is really pattern recognition. I see this very often in the market, right? Something like this, and if this happens, this is a 3 drive pattern. Now, I don't care about XRP because I've been holding XRP for 5 years and I sold when we came up here. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't have any more XRP. So to me, this is irrelevant. But for you guys that don't have XRP and care about XRP or whatever, the Hopium is gonna tell you that you want to go all the way to whatever $10, okay? And this happens. But from pattern recognition and experience, I wouldn't be surprised if it does something like this, and we come and retrace the bigger part of this move before, maybe this is the end of the cycle, and then the next cycle in a year or two, whatever, does this. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so we'll see. Because I mean, XRP kind of already did its big one compared to all the other cryptos. Like it's done its big one, right? And I've been studying this for a while, so you understand that like crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, I study them in correlation, and XRP can give you the signs whether it's the beginning or end of the bull run. So that's what I'm looking at, right? So now when we go to a daily perspective, looking at the daily, I pull up this range. The range I'm talking about, and this was in the weekly outlook, by the way. Okay, we have here, and we have here. Again, it's very hard for me to accept that we're just gonna make this a huge run up without sweeping these lows, right? So where we are now is a spot where shorts make sense and they're low risk. And why I say that is because we have a clear area of invalidation, right? So even if I was to take a short here and it came up here, it's a small loss because the gains from here makes a lot of sense, right? And I'll show you that. Right? And then targeting, let's say the 27 extension, right? That's a nice almost 5R here, right? So taking a short here makes sense, and it's probably something I will probably do after this video. But this is the range that we're dealing with, right? So I want to see us take this low out and then forming something like this. Let me draw it for us. And then you could look for that long, taking out the high there, right? So again, I wouldn't be surprised if we do this. This is kind of what I'm looking at. And this is all going to also matter with Bitcoin, okay, and where we're at with Bitcoin. And we can see how everything starts to make sense and correlate, right? So we look at like Bitcoin, for example. Bitcoin, we're at this level. And at the end of the day, we're still stuck in a range. So take note of everyone that's calling for the bull market. Because when prices coming down here, everybody was bearish. Everyone's like, oh my God, we're going down to 90K, 93K, 100K, whatever, blah, 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 whatever, right? I've been saying this for the past month and a half. When we come up to 124, 125, we're going to see some sort of correction. I've been saying that. Just because we get to a level does not mean that it's going to correct right away. The market does that, right? It consolidates and goes in the range before the next big move. Now, to clarify, where did I get the 120 to 125 level? Where I got this level is from higher time frame extension. I'm not doing it again because I've done this a million times, but this is an extension level where I expect people to take profits. When price hits a higher time frame extension level, that is potentially where I'm looking for a correction or a pullback on a higher time frame. So when we get to an extension level, I'm not really looking for longs on the higher time frame. I want to see that correction. Now, we can't come up and go higher, deviate from this, right, and then come lower. That is very possible. But we look at this from this range to this range low. We tap into the 79, and we're now holding that. We've closed below. So really, any type of consolidation here and the breakdown can easily lead us down to my bottom levels, heading down into here, and then potentially taking out this low, which I think will happen. Now, can we just go full throttle and go higher to 150? Sure. And again, anything's possible in the market, right? But I'm going based on probabilities, experience, what I expect, my experience in the market. My experience in the market is different than your experience, right? Whatever, right? So this is ultimately what I think is going to happen. I make money either way. Whether this shit goes up or down, I don't give a damn, okay? We've been buying Bitcoin since, most of us, since 32, around 32,000, 33,000, right? So to us, this doesn't really matter, right? And we haven't sold any, right? So we did sell Ethereum, right? We sold Ethereum pretty much at the top. And now we're looking to maybe take some profit soon on Bitcoin. And that's when we hit to like the 150 level. And then let's just say tomorrow, Bitcoin goes down from here to fucking 20K, whatever, right? Like, that's just part of the investment plan, right? I have plans and I stick to it. You'll never see me flip switch a million different times, right? I really stick to my plan, and my plan also includes an exit plan and a plan against my plan, if that makes sense, right? So even though I expect price to go to 150 and I expect to take profits there, doesn't mean I'm going to pull out early because just in case something happens and we go down to 20K tomorrow, right? No, my mindset on Bitcoin is a long-term investment. So I'm not worried about the intervals of it dropping every 50K or gaining another 50K that much. I don't care. But I do know that, I do think this rotation's ending soon. We're heading into Q4. I do think we're gonna have a bear market for Bitcoin next year. So that also correlates with why I want to take profits at 150. Okay, so we'll see if we get that. I don't really want to care to dabble in Ethereum right now. I want to focus on Bitcoin and XRP. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I just want to give you guys an update of what my thoughts are for the market heading into the end of the week. Tomorrow being Friday and a new weekend next week, right? So we can consolidate here for the next couple of days, the weekend, see what happens. We can pull up down here and then drive up. A million things can happen here, but I really think, we can easily, it's hard for me to think we're not going to at least sweep these lows before the next move up, right? This move up was fueled by the sweep, right? This move up was fueled by the sweep. We don't have anything like that at all, right? There's just relatively equal lows left here, and very rarely in the market do you see that, right? Here, deviation, go higher, right? So that's really what I'm waiting for. Let's see if we get that. And if I see anything else I'm gonna update you guys with, I'll let you guys know. See ya.